Okay, this is really, really good for us.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so I'm not just being petty when I say this. What's going on with the Atlanta Hawks can be really beneficial to the San Antonio Spurs. I absolutely love this. And I'm not just being petty when I say this. This is super important, and this can really, really help us. Now, before we talk about this, and there's quite a few things that I want to get into. If you guys want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description if you want to support the channel. I really do appreciate the love, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So as you guys know, unless your head has been in sand, the Atlanta Hawks are dealing with a little bit of drama, okay? Now, some people have said this is miscommunication. Some people have said that this is blown out of proportion. I do not believe that whatsoever. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what's going on. I'm just going to give a synopsis and my take from an outsider looking in, as Trae Young would say. And we're going to look at this too. What I've seen is apparently what happened was Trae Young was dealing with somewhat of a nagging injury, didn't really participate in shoot-arounds, in which he got into an altercation with Nate McMillan. Nate McMillan basically told him, hey, you can either sit out as far as not show up to the arena at all, or you can come off the bench and you can play. Those are your two options, okay? Very, very alpha male of Nate McMillan saying that. And Trae Young said, well, I'm a leader of this team, so I'm just not going to show up. So that's not a good look. That's not a great look. And obviously it got out, it leaked out, people started talking about it, and there's multitude of different takes on it. But as you know, if you guys watch or keep up with any of the journalists out there in the basketball world, Shams is actually really good when it comes to reporting these things. And even he came out and he said there's more to this than meets the eye. Now, this is how I feel about it, okay? I don't think that this small incident by itself is a big deal, but I do believe that this is a small section of something that's probably been going on a little bit more outside of this, okay? This is more so a microcosm of probably a bigger issue. And here's the thing, this isn't the first time that Trae Young has got into it with a coach. As you guys remember, Lloyd Pierce was fired because of Trae Young and other players as well. So I'm not going to just harp on that. Other players did not want him there either, but this isn't a first time thing. And I'm not going to sit here and say like stars shouldn't be able to dictate their coaches, because in today's NBA, obviously, you know, sometimes you just need a better fit. But I'm sorry, man, you get into it with your first coach, I can excuse that. But once it gets into the second coach, to me, it's like it's getting a little shaky. Now, not only that, okay, you got this drama going on, and I know some people want to point out the DeJounte Murray stuff, which, don't get me wrong, it's hilarious, okay? It's really bad, it's really ugly, but I will say this: DeJounte Murray, as long as I've known him with the Spurs, he can take a little bit of criticism, okay? If you want to adjust his role, I still think that he's capable of doing that. And maybe this is just me being with my bias, but I think if DeJounte Murray was asked to come off the bench while, you know, dealing with an injury, he would probably do it for a game or two. Now, he did get a little frustrated with the Spurs when we had him come off the bench, okay? I'm not going to lie there, all right? He unfriended some people on Instagram. He took Spurs point guard out of his bio, but he never once did not show up to the arena due to being upset. He never once did that. That to me is a little extra. Now, you add on this, just compile on this a little bit. We also know, and this is I know it says rumor, this is not just a rumor at this point. The Atlanta Hawks are searching for a place for John Collins. Now Atlanta Hawks fans have gotten angry with me about this. Sure, whatever, I don't really care. But from what I've seen is John Collins and Trae Young have gotten into it before. I believe that it might have been in practice in which John Collins and Trae Young got angry with each other. Now, I'm not saying they just have full-on beef, and they have come out and said, oh, no, we're good now, we're brothers. But it's just too many instances where you can point to for me to just sit back and say, no, there's nothing going on. They said nothing's going on. I don't buy it like that. When it's a lot of little bitty clues, it's hard for me to just look away when it comes to that. So this is why this is important, though. with this destruction, with them not having enough money to do anything really, it's a really bad situation, because at this point it is win or go home. As it stands right now, they're 4th in the East, but as you can see here, it's not that impressive. I mean, they're literally a couple games out of not making the playoffs at all in the East because things are so close. I don't think they were expecting to be in this situation right now. And if you compile on top of that, they've lost some games that you would not have thought that they would have lost. We're looking at the Thunder's game in which they lost. We're looking at the 76ers game in which people expected them to win that. The Rockets game was a big one where I was like, wow, really? You guys lost that one? It's a lot of weird games that they've been losing lately. But with that being said, why is this important for the San Antonio Spurs? Well, the reason why is because we have a bunch of their picks. As you guys know, in 2023, that's via Charlotte from New York, blah, 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 protected. So we're not going to worry about this one too much. We'll see what happens with Charlotte. But these are the ones that's absolutely incredible. So let's just hypothetically speaking, okay? Because me personally, I don't think this Atlanta Hawks experiment is going to work. DJ is waiting to get paid. They're trying to move John Collins the best they can. I've watched this team. I don't think they're that good. Now, I know that they're like top 10 in offense and top 10 in defense, but as far as Trae Young's efficiency, it's bad. So I just don't think that they're going in a great direction, or at the very least, I feel like they're a first round, second round exit, and that is not what they wanted by giving away so many picks for DeJounte Murray. Now, with that being said, if they go ahead and tank, 2025 is going to look really great. So let's just say this season fails for them. Okay, this season fails. Maybe they want to blow it up. They're going to have to change some things around. I don't know if they can necessarily just jump right back on their feet. They don't have much money to spend. I don't know what they could do at this point. They got to make something happen, but they don't have money to spend. So I would assume, this is me making too many assumptions, but I would assume that they will be a pretty poor team by 2025, at the very least trying to get their, the ducks back in order. And if that were to happen, guys, we have their 2025. We have a pick swap in 2026, and we have another first round pick in 2027, unprotected. We would absolutely go crazy. That would be absolutely insane. Kudos to Brian Wright on this one. Now, obviously, as far as all the stuff that happened this offseason, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I love Brian Wright as character. I have no idea what's going on with that situation. But I will say this, and I've stuck to this, okay? He is, in my opinion, a really good, or at least he's been a really good GM thus far for the Spurs, and I like the direction that we're going in, and this might really help us in the long run. And here's just a few more details if you wanted to know. I just went ahead and put Atlanta in the search engine. So this is 2023. We go to 2025. As we can see here, first round draft pick from Atlanta, 2025 first round pick San Antonio, blah, 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 blah. First round pick Atlanta. And this will be a swap, so we can just swap out for whatever we want. And then if we go down, same deal, 2027. Or I said 2026, sorry. And then 2027, same thing with the Atlanta Hawks. So Spurs are in a phenomenal situation. And this team blowing up the way that they're doing right now, or the direction that they're going right now, this is huge for us. Not to mention, I'm just going to be real, not to mention this loss, where is it? Against the Thunder? Absolutely great, especially since sometimes it feels almost as if we are competing for this tank, and the Thunder winning all the while the Atlanta Hawks losing it's just such a beautiful thing to see. So, I didn't show this. So let's go ahead and watch this really quick. I promise I will watch this. So this is Trae Young slapping back at the reporter. And here's another thing too. I don't mean to psychoanalyze, okay? We're going to watch this. We'll get out of here, but I don't mean to psychoanalyze. But I think the reporter definitely was doing this on purpose. But I just watch it. I watched the full thing. Just watching it. It seems as if Trae Young definitely has a temper. And I'm not saying you don't have to. Here's the thing. You don't have to be like a Tim Duncan level professional, a Tim Duncan level leader. You don't have to be Stephen Curry type lead. Like, you don't have to be a really great, you don't have to be a Giannis type leader, okay, to be a really good player to win a championship. Not necessarily, but this right here, I think that the reporter felt that he was getting him a little hot, so he kept poking at him. And to, on the reporters, to have his back a little bit, to be honest, Trae Young was not answering the question whatsoever. So let's speed this up just a little bit. Let's do 1.25 and let's listen.
Agree, and I mean, it's unfortunate that private situations and private conversations get out to the public, but I guess that's what the world we live in now. But I mean, I'll just focus on basketball and focus on helping my team win, and that's what I got to get to refocusing on.
But what's public was that you not at the game, so why weren't you there?
Man, it's not you. It's not you at me, bro.
I'm curious. I mean, you're leader of this team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for people who don't know the full situation.
See, that right there, I feel like you could just answer it, just say why you weren't there, but I don't know. That's just me.
Understand it. So, I mean, it's, like I said, it's a private matter again, and it made public, which is unfortunate. And if it was stayed private, it probably wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But like I said, it's unfortunate. My job and my goal is to win a championship, and that's all I focus on.
But you can see the perception, though, Trey. You are a leader of this team, and when you're not there to support your guys.
When you're an outside guy like you are, you don't understand in a private matter, in a private situation, you should probably stay on the outside. And like I said, it's unfortunate that everybody.
I hate these type of answers. I mean, and it's not just him. It's not just Trae Young. I absolutely hate these type of answers where you kind of deflect and you're like, well, you're, because in other words, I mean, maybe it's just me interpreting it this way, but it's kind of saying, well, you're a nobody. You know, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're a nobody. And we all know this has been proven time and time and time and time and time again that when it comes to these reporters, oftentimes, it happens quite often, they have more insight than anyone else. Even some of the own people in the organization, they'll have like more inside information than anyone. So I just don't buy this. I stopped buying this ever since the Kawhi Leonard situation, in which I was so on the fence for a while. You know, obviously I got my own information, right? But people said that I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm on the outside, and I was absolutely right with all that. Told you so. But with that being said, the reporters started reporting like, oh no, there is friction between San Antonio and Kawhi. And every single person, even players, even Kawhi and his camp tried to downplay it. Every single person says, you don't know what you're talking about. These reporters don't know what they're talking. They're not there. Look, they have some pretty good information. And all of this leaked. So the fact that he says, oh, you need to stay on the outside, he's just a report. The information got on the outside, and he was on the outside. He got the information, and now he's asking you, and you're saying he should stay in his lane. I just don't like those answers, man. That is not leadership answers to me.
Everybody has to understand and know a little bit of the details that went on inside. But I mean, inside here, we're all good. And I mean, you got any more questions about that, then you can talk to somebody else about it. That's all I got to say about it.
Again, I respect what you're saying about the private of the locker room, the private of the practice court. We're not here. I guess it's just a public thing of you not going to support your teammates when you're healthy, but not going on the bench. So
because all he's talking about at this point is optics. Like, that's all this report, and you can see he got kind of a smirk, like he wants to get on him. But all he's talking about right here is optics. Like, he's not even saying something specific. He's like, you didn't show up. The optics are really bad. Can you answer that? And Trae Young is like deflecting the whole time.
Disconnect there.
If I was healthy, I would have been playing.
But I mean, John was in a boot, and he was still at the.
Which that is true. Trae Young refused to come off the bench and play, and there's been issues with him and Nate McMillan. That's what's going on.
Yeah, but you don't know the full story. Again. Again, no, I don't want to.
So that's just, there's more to it. If you're being healthy, just, I mean,
a private matter needs to stay private.
Yeah. Private matter needs to stay private until it's not private, and you need to answer the questions. But hey, that's just me. That's fine. That is fine. But anyways, San Antonio Spurs, great position. Absolutely love this. Not having a fun time watching the Spurs right now, but I will say, objectively speaking, our future looks pretty doggone good. I'll get with you guys later. If you want to support the channel, as always, man, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description there, or become a Patreon YouTube member. I'll get with you guys later. Until next time, bye.